Welcome back, everyone. I'm very sorry for the extended break. I believe it is Forrester who has had some connection issues, and I do believe, unfortunately, they are, at the moment, a little bit permanent. So it looks like Entropiq are going to be playing with the man himself, Hooch, the coach, of course, who did used to play back in the day. But I think it might be a bit even harder task now for Entropiq, more than it even was before, to win this map of Ancient. And here he is, coming in, let's see what he can do. Oh, he's going to get destroyed. That's an unfortunate start for Entropiq in this whole series, and already Sprout are taking full advantage of it, Dean.
Yeah, as you said, against the Sprout that are in good form as of late and also being relegated down to playing with their coach as a stand-in, it really is just everything working against them right now. A little bit unfortunate. Hopefully whatever issue Forrester's having can be smoothed out, and if not within this map, hopefully by the second map at the very least.
I reckon that's possible, but obviously we don't know how permanent that problem could be. We currently do not know, and goodness gracious me, StaehrH is like, okay, well, we're at a significant advantage in this map. I'm just going to hold W and get 2 more kills with the picked up dualies. That was a disgusting 2k to finish it off, 4 in total.
We mentioned the form he's been in alongside LauNX, as you instructed me it's supposed to be pronounced. I was going to LauNX before. Flow's a bit easier, less syllables, but we'll go with what he's requested. But yeah, very solid start. Those dual Berettas for StaehrH, just going in, over-empowering as many players as he could, dealing with crossfires somehow on his own as well, and hopefully inspiring Sprout with some good confidence here in the early stages. A nice little bit of aggression caught by Zyphon as well as Narquez goes down. That's a big name to be taken out of play this early on, and it really doesn't seem like this Force guy is going to be able to find anything more here for Entropiq, unless we get a miracle from either Mir or Hooch at this point. I forgot his name for a second. I don't know how he's... I've known him probably longer than every other player in the server right now. He's been around that long.
It's true, but it does catch you off guard a little bit when his name in the HUD is his full name and not his in-game alias. Yeah, so we weren't prepared for the eventuality of Hooch playing, but there we are. I think Entropiq were either. Very weird situation, of course, for both these two sides, really, at the moment. Sprout, heavy favourites, even more the heavy favourites now. Entropiq, recently announced, of course. We went through this in the pre-game, but it's been a while since the pre-game now, so we can talk about a bit more of that again. Recently announced, of course, that their roster has sort of been dropped, and they will be benched when their contracts expire and ready to be brought out. So, yeah, everyone's going to be moving on, whether as a group or not, including Hooch, of course, as well. So... yeah, it's an interesting situation, that's for sure.
Yeah, coming into pretty much an eco right now, bar what was saved over, of course. 50 there for Nickelback, a couple of nades as well, so definitely a chance to do some decent damage in this round. That's got to be the goal. Don't allow for Sprout to keep on building the money as they have been so far, with not even a single casualty being suffered up to this point. A nade, though, likely to do some damage if they time it correctly. 4 players right now grouped at the bottom of the ramp. Does seem like this B execute is going to come in at some point. Just for the moment, though, they do want to wait and see if any aggression comes towards them first. They have a player, of course, holding that A main aggression. The only real risk, I suppose, is that a potential flank could come through mid, as Hooch actually finds himself an opening kill. Not bad. They won't really be getting anything from the weapon, unfortunately, but if they can get a couple of kills as this B push moves in, there is still a chance that they can maybe steal this round away. And Arcade with a USP up close and personal was hoping for a dink or two. That really would have been best case scenario. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out now. Nickelback's tucked in the corner, not able to do anything, and Hooch eventually finished as well. Leaves it all on Mir, and it doesn't seem like more than that one kill is coming to them, unfortunately. It was a promising start, it just doesn't really go anywhere.
It was. I'm going to quickly check, actually. Bear with me a second. I'm going to check when the last time Hooch played an actual official. Because don't forget, of course, this roster for a while, wasn't it Windstrike, I think, before they were on Entropiq, and I think they were ex-Windstrike for a while as well, and Hooch did play for a little bit on that team. Let's have a look. Complete statistics, individual matches. So Hooch last played an actual game. He stood in for 1 round, I think, in January 2021, because he went 0-1, right? So he played 1 round, died, and then I guess they moved on. That was when they were still Windstrike. His last full BO3 was Windstrike versus Singularity in December 2020. So, yeah, if he does well today, it will be a minor miracle. Bless him.
Either that or he's going to be an absolute god. It's one or the other. Now you don't play CS for ages, and then you're just a monster.
I know,
He's
right?
been watching, he's been sitting behind these guys, seeing them do well. He might be really motivated. Hopefully, if the rest of his team can step up, he can fill in, get a kill around, you know, just kind of do what's needed of him. He doesn't need to be an absolute hero or anything in any of these rounds. We'll see now that the guns, of course, are in play. Utility is incredibly limited after these initial few seconds after they get those smokes down on mid and over towards B. But they will be able to alleviate some of that pressure. Anarka is on the up, able to pick up an open and frag. Mir gonna push up around the smoke here. Might be trading places with Zyph and actually does damage to the player above B before he even noticed he was shoulder to shoulder at that point with Zyphin. They're going to continue with this mid-aggression. It may not be necessary, but it doesn't matter. It seems to be working out for them. Another kill around the edge of the smoke, this time for Hooch, and it is a perfect round out of the Entropiq buys. Not a single casualty suffered. Exactly the opposite of what they'd gone under for the last few rounds, and that's what they needed now to stabilize. And potentially, if they can just win one more gun round, completely break down Sprout.
Damn, all these Entropiq players suck. Their coach is out fragging all of them. What the hell?
That was an unfortunate combination of words right there.
I realize that. All good though. It adds to the comedic effect, right?
Yeah.
Oh dear. That's a classic. But probably, you know, it comes with not expecting to have to say Hooch's name out loud in this broadcast, most likely.
Slower round from Sprout. This time more focused on default than they were in that previous, where they wanted to try and focus their attention since they had I guess a bit of an advantage in terms of the utility and potentially weaponry. They didn't know exactly what was going on going into it. This time though, they know obviously everything's stabilized and Entropiq lived with everyone in that previous round, and the nades are going to be a lot harder to deal with. So Split now trying to run it down and hoping for some entries, and damn! We had an Arquez's view on that one. I thought it was almost a given that he would be able to land that shot as it came in, but no, pre-fired and absolutely destroyed.
I think that tends to be a slight issue with, you know, an Arquez, right? Like, if I'm not mistaken, he is playing, you know, from home. I might be wrong on this, someone can correct me, but if he is, then usually that does sort of entail that he will be playing on slightly higher ping, and yeah, unfortunately, Hooch can't make it happen in Donut this time. Staehr 8-1 to start off this game, and with the smoke down toward B, it's going to be all down to Crad to play in the smoke and try and do something cheeky. Zyphin will be swapping off as well as 10 HP. You hear the bomb crossing over and he tries to do some damage, but Zyphin says, okay, no shenanigans from you. And that is going to leave Nickelback to save.
Yeah, no other option really. Unfortunate, since their economy, while surviving with the 5 players in that previous round, won't really be perfect. I mean, they should be able to get the weapons anyway. Mir will probably get a drop off Nickelback. Everyone else should be able to scrape it together since they already have some money built up on top of the slightly boosted loss bonus still. Not sure exactly what they're getting. Is it 1900, maybe 24?
I think so.
Either way, the money will be there. Sprout aren't even willing to hunt this one. They know, screw it. We can live with 5. We can just take this 4-1 lead and put our economy in a stable position.
Yeah.
And hopefully, at the very least, keep trading back and forth like this, because that would work out for them then. But obviously, they'd like to chain it together now. No op this time either for Entropiq, which is going to be a bit of an issue for an Arquez, as you said. Obviously, just always so present whenever he gets that weapon out, but with a slightly higher ping, it's going to be a little bit harder for him to take the initiative here on the CT side with the rifle as he would with the op.
Slack's fully blinded as he tries to go for a pick toward mid, has to fall away from that one. And Entropiq are happy to, you know, consistently go toward this mid control, which is promising, I would say, if they're going to try and get some control into this one. Because, of course, if a T side does have complete possession of the sort of Jaguar and outside B area, it can be very difficult to fend them off in the end. And that Jaguar position is one of the most important places on the map, for sure. One of your solid riflers in that position. It looks like Nickelback will be the one to play it at the moment. And Arquez, unfortunately, will get caught by Zyphin again in this round. So his rifle doesn't work, and his AWP hasn't either so far. Unfortunate. And with a minute to go, Refresh is back in spawn to throw some utility.
Dishing, unfortunately, they molly him out. Not even given the chance to try and get the drop. He did dink up Xiphon. Maybe that kill can at least be taken here as the push starts to come in over towards B, but I'm not expecting Nickelback to be able to put in a solo hold here. He's going to have to get multiple kills, and he's just not really in the position to make it happen, unfortunately. Gets the finish on the low health player who they sent in first. He was the scout pretty much at the front of the pack, and it's Hooch this time who's left to save it over towards A. He's pushing through, so wants to get somewhere secure, I suppose, to try and carry his weapon forward and maybe get an exit or two. But he might end up getting caught here if he's not careful. Is just about ready for a refresh, though.
He's so good.
But at this point, has to back away.
I'm gonna be.
Why does he want these fights so much?
I'm gonna be a staunch Hooch supporter in this entire series if he does actually play the whole game.
He is top fragging.
He is.
Triple the kills on most of his teammates. Oh, he's being hunted to bits right now.
He is. They got the money to do so as well, after starting with 5 alive in the previous round, of course. He can be very stuck here, he can be out of ammunition. They fake him out nicely. That's the way to do it. Staehr increases his kill tally to 10, and we're only in round 7. The start we expected, I think it's fair to say, after the issues with Entropiq, and the fact that everything is against them. It's not just the fact that, you know, they're not going to be playing under Entropiq for too much longer. It's the fact that they are, you know, playing a map that they haven't even played properly for, what was it, 6+ months we checked? And at the same time, now they're having to play with their coach. So it never rains but it pours, right?
Pretty much completely abandoning the A-bomb site for now. I like the idea that they're taking this gamble. It's just unfortunately the round where Sprout for once have decided to group it together and take a bit of a quicker round for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, on rounds such as these, gambling is normal anyway, but I think in general, Entropiq are going to be forced into doing a lot of gambling, I think, in this one, to have any success at all. Game 4 will get baited in and we'll get 1, but Staehr is holding some aggression and we'll take Crab nicely. And bomb looks like it should be planted. Oh, on A. There's Nickelback, as I said, tries to make something cheeky happen. Mir might have a line actually above this smoke, but he's detected by utility. Now his position will be shown. LauNX, he goes for the spray and finds it. And now he knows that Hooch is in that position as well. And he goes. Oh, he actually gets refreshed. He'll be saying to Slacks, mate, how am I dead? Why didn't you hold my angle? Come on.
Yeah, I don't think I'll make too much of a dent in the economy in the long run, but
No.
still, losing a couple rounds in a row, you could start to feel the impact of the extra weapons being dropped, so you'd be careful. Double op setup as well now. Hooch is actually going to decide to pull one out. A little bit of a swap up for him, I suppose, since, well, the rifle's been going okay, but I would imagine he probably will feel more comfortable with the ability to get those one-and-done shots. That's the thing. He's been watching the game, still coaching for the last couple of years, so even if he hasn't been playing, he might still have the game sense present. The problem is they're being overrun on B. And Arcade just wipes off the map. Crad followed up on as he was stuck in a molly, and it's LauNX that is doing all of the work on his own. Great support from the teammates, you've got to say, on those flashes, keeping pretty much everyone he took the fight against blind. But he is doing a fantastic job with the entries, and really we're just seeing as you all of the bits for Sprout coming together that we pointed out before this match that they needed. We said LauNX had been in good form. We said StaehrH had been playing fantastically as well. Both of them are showing up big time in the early stages. Xiphon's having some good moments, and Refresh is just chilling, putting in really good calls.
Exactly. I mean, I've got to say, one thing I've been pretty impressed with Refresh after watching him quite a lot recently, of course, on this team, is that he's very calm in the clutch and is still a very, very good clutch player. Like, the IGLing, once he's left in the clutch, it hasn't taken away too much of his form. He's a very consistent clutch player, and yeah, Sprout are just obviously in the ascendancy right now. Why wouldn't they be, with everything going their way in terms of their own performance and Entropiq's lack of performance? Refresh has got 0 kills so far, but does that matter when you've got LauNX going 9-1 and StaehrH going 11-1? Not one jot.
Becomes a bit desperate now at this point, 7-1 down. I mean, I can't be too surprised. We did know Entropiq were going to struggle here on Ancient. They haven't played it in months. within the last 3 months anyway. You have to go back to the last 6 months to find any games that they actually played on it. And even then, they were very mixed results against not fantastic teams. So I wasn't expecting a lot. Before the stand-in, before they had to play with Hooch, I was thinking maybe it's something they've been working on since they were willing to let it slip through, and since it has been completely missing from their map pool for months. You do eventually need to start working on maps like this, especially when you also have another couple of maps in the pool that aren't fantastic for you, like Inferno, which they also tend to like to get rid of. So I was hopeful, but I don't think this is really the game where they get to showcase it, even if they have been putting the work in.
No, exactly. I mean, I think also this veto stems from the fact that they didn't want to let Sprout have Inferno, right? So they decided to ban that away, ban their strength away, and leave Ancient open. And yeah, I mean, of course, little did they know that they'd encounter these issues. So nothing's going their way at the moment, unfortunately, and that might mean it's a pretty free game for Sprout, but that does remain to be seen. Maybe Forrester will be able to come back for map 2. That is something that we cannot confirm yet because we do not have the information. LauNX pushing all the way through mid here, and Arce's holding the tight angle with the Deagle. I reckon he's going to check it. Check it correctly, actually. And Arce gets a free spam. Checks the left instead of the right. That's a free gun. And Zyphon's the only one to get a kill so far. With here lurking underneath the mid boxes, but Staehr takes him as well. Oh, no, there's nothing that Entropiq can do right now. Crad in towards the K position. Molotov made a lot of noise with that. Zyphon takes his head off. And that will force the rotation all the way around. But unfortunately, already Sprout have just put the brakes on and said, we can just take this one slowly.
That was the hope. Anarcha has not really given them all that freedom, though. Want to reclaim control of caves. And, well, now at this point, I was going to say, having a position where you could be a nuisance, you could let Hooch get in position. Unfortunately, taking that peak just a bit too soon. Meaning Hooch now left to try and clutch it out with a 1-on-2. It's a 5-7, and well, that initial fight looked like it might have been his. Decent damage was done. The 5-7, if he had landed one towards the head, would have got the job done and finished it off. Would at least give him the chance in that 1v1 against the final player who was trapped in behind the pillar, but unfortunately it doesn't go that way. If he had a rifle, things maybe would be different. Instead, you have StaehrH on 14-1. He is playing a ridiculous game right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, everyone says it's hard to play when you've got like roster issues and different problems with the team. But I gotta say, it says a lot when you have to play with the coach as well. Some people who might not know about him, of course. I can see some people in chat saying, "Who on earth is this guy?" Well, if you don't know who Hooch is, it's because he's quite old. Bless him. He's 35 now. And the coach of this team for quite a long time. Huge, of course. Back in the day, had multiple teams that he played with at big LANs. If you just have to look through his old team history on HLTV to realise that. Played in teams dating back to 2013 on HLTV, and I think he was probably most known for his and some Russian mixes and the like that, and WESG type tournaments as well. Let's get this round started off nicely, and Nickelback is going to help him out as well. So already, Entropiq have a 5v3 and their first chance in a good while to convert one of these CT rounds.
I was going to say, yeah, definitely the best chance they've had. Zyphon with a decent return opens up some opportunities, but still the 4-on-3 with the damage done on Slacks should be Entropiq's to win at this point. They're not really wanting to stick around too long either. There's a lot of time on the clock though, so that is the only problem. Sprout have a little bit to work with. They've still got some utility as well to slowly clear out a few of these positions, and we're seeing for now the focus is heavy towards B for both of these teams. I'm going to say leaving Sprout the opportunity if they want to maybe rethink where they want to end this, and as Zyphon gets his second entry onto that B bomb site, they do decide to reconsider.
Yeah,
at the very least, slow it down.
Slacks, unfortunately, I mean, as we've said, he's very low, but sort of countered by the fact that Mir is too. So you never know. Maybe a late boost would come in. Zyphon will be swapped over that smoke, so Slacks can go for the peak. He does have the bomb, so if it's spotted, that will give Entropiq the information of exactly where they're going to go. But there's no one's going to be peeking in this instance, and they're playing a bait setup. That's probably the way to do it. Zyphon's creeping up. Nickelback's facing aggressively on full HP versus Zyphon's low HP. So I think baiting in Mir is the good play here. This should be an Entropiq round. And there we go. Nickelback gets his. Refresh is coming in toward K. Looking to try and get a free fire going. And he spots Mir as well. And he gets a double spray down. All that means that Slacks can hop onto the site and get the bomb planted just in time. And Narquez behind the smoke. Refresh playing around it. This round is suddenly back in Sprout's favour. And Refresh plays it perfectly. He had 0 kills before this round did Refresh, but he shows up with a triple to get Sprout their 9th.
well then. Okay. Zyphon obviously kicking it off in the beginning as well, being the one who really gave him the chance to come through and get that done. But as you said, when it's needed, when it's a clutch situation, when it's the numbers are down and Refresh has the ability to focus on himself, he can still get it done. Right now, it's reflecting in the scoreline for Sprout 9-1. Again, not too shocking on this map. In general, we were expecting a Sprout victory. Maybe wasn't expecting it to be quite this dominant because it's not just in rounds right now. There's just not really much of an opportunity for anyone on Entropiq to get into this game. Well, I do expect Mirage to fare better for Entropiq for sure. If they're not going to get themselves into this map at all, there's always the possibility that Sprout can just kick off that second map with a pistol round as well and just kind of resume what they had going here on the first map as well. So it's a scary position to be in for sure. But they got a second kill on StaehrH. Good.
Yeah. You're going to take down the raid boss.
7 KD now.
Exactly, you're going to take down the raid boss at some point, haven't you? And yeah, it's a shame that this game has turned into a bit of I think a damp squib, is the saying for this sort of game. As it is a pretty important one. It would obviously decide who goes to playoffs, and then the loser goes through to play K23 to find out who will be the second team to make it through this group as we finish it off. But already these pistols are being picked up nicely by Sprout-lauNX, just looking as he should. And look at that. The cleanest 3k you'll ever see. Just pistols, I know, but it'll add to the headshot percentage, that's for sure. 3 insta headshots, and he's been the main man for this team alongside StaehrH, the 2 star youngsters. And we've got to remember that we're not necessarily talking about Zyphon as a youngster, right? But he is. I mean, he's not even 20 yet himself, I don't think. And yeah, the star power they have with not many years on the board for some of these young players sort of says a lot that they could have a great future ahead of them. And I spoke about it the other day as well, Dean. Pretty crazy that after all the Copenhagen Flames success, that in the end, HooXi on G2, technically the best team, is the only one of all the ex-Copenhagen Flames players not to make the major. KEKW.
It's unlucky. Yeah, and joining a team like G2, of course, you're going to be expecting the major to be one of your goals as well.
I know.
So you've got to be disappointed, but always the future to look forward to. Hopefully they can keep on building, and hopefully Entropiq here now can start doing something to build back into this game for themselves. Swapping it up a bit here rather on the Sprout side as well. We haven't seen much focus towards this A-bomb site. I think the one round we did see them go for a similar approach was up against just the pistols. This time the rifles are waiting. But Hooch is only good for the one as he catches the boost before being traded on. And I feel like Sprout are more than happy just to put a smoke down, see if that pulls rotations. And hopefully allow those players lurking elsewhere on the map to catch lurkers, catch people rotating out of position. And that might just be the case. The problem is Nickelback's actually pushed all the way up. Is StaehrH going to check it? He goes in for the look, and Nickelback's timing was very unfortunate as he had looked to himself get ready for some aggression.
That's how you sort of go about it, right? You swing your crosshair to when you're about to go for a peak, but his timing on that is very unfortunate. And Arcus has been taken down as well. Mir and Mid has to put some work in, but both players are here, and that's going to work out brilliantly. That's the bomb dropped in Entropiq's possession as well. Slacks 1v2, a lot of noise being made. Crad pre-fires him, so there we go. Entropiq get their second. They double their score, incredibly. And who knows, if they can glean 3 or even 4 on this half, there could be a slight glimmer of hope, and that's me living very hopefully. But you know, we have to think that way. We have to be optimistic.
Yeah, always got to hope for a compelling game. That's always what I'm thinking going into a matchup. Sometimes you get one-sided score lines where it's still a compelling game, where you have like close rounds and clutches need to come true in every round and all. But this hasn't really been one of those. So I'm hoping now Entropiq after that round with Crad coming through with a nice little 3k for himself, I believe it was as well, that's going to inspire Entropiq to maybe even salvage back up towards the 5 rounds, because that would be a workable half. The nade might do some good damage there as well. Not a lot, but with the kill already coming through from Crad in the early stages, and with the chance for even more from, I was going to say, they might be able to extend that advantage, and they will do so. It's not thanks to Crad, but he did get the initial kill and allow for the trade then to come in from his teammate afterwards. So a 4-on-2, one of the better positions Entropiq have been in, and it looks like it should be theirs to close out.
There it is. Nickelback gets the last, taking Slacks out, and Mir takes Zyphon. So they're in that round with 4 players alive as well. Only 2 rounds left in the half. And it's going to take a lot to whittle down the Sprout economy, because they still had quite a lot left over the 5 players. You can see LauNX didn't have much, but Stacks had plenty, and I think even after this round, Staehr would have money to possibly even drop 2 if required. So, let's see. 5 is important. LauNX will spin his skeleton knife as he rushes up toward B. And let's see if the StaehrH combination can continue to do some good work.
Liking what we're getting right now from Entropiq. Willing to slow it down once they get this early advantage as well. Not really something Sprout had faced throughout this match. They'd been the ones getting the early advantage and having the ability to just play at their own pace pretty much throughout this entire T side. Instead, now they'll be feeling the pressure a small bit. I'm kind of surprised by how hard Entropiq have stacked over towards B right now, though. I mean, it could be the correct call, but the bomb's not committed anywhere. It's still sitting just outside of mid. Not really in anyone's possession for the moment either. They've called for this aggression through B due to having already stacked the numbers so heavily. Oh, slacks.
Big miss. But Hooch punishes him with the MP9. That's going to be a free upgrade if he can get to it. But of course, the control that they had was pretty significant, and as soon as Hooch goes for that kill that he's spotted out, he's going to be found by LauNX. But the round's still pretty much in Entropiq's favour. Refresh is going to try and take it back into an even situation by going up to face Crad, but Crad falls all the way back through the molly and even gets the final 2 kills with the AWP. Oh, it's a nice mad counter-strike. It's kind of what I expected in this game after all the issues, to be honest. But Entropiq are staying alive here pretty nicely. Sprout, 10 rounds on T, of course, still more than enough, but yeah, it's nice to see some fight from the Entropiq boys.
Yeah, it can be super difficult to have such kind of a drastic turnaround within a half. We've got to remember in those initial 8 or 9 rounds, they were barely getting kills, let alone making the rounds competitive, and they've managed to, in these last couple of gun rounds now, take control of the game, really. So it's good to see. Hopefully this 5th round can be theirs as well. 11-4 would be a pretty monumental task to try and overcome. 10-5 would be hard enough for sure. Sprout again just split it out on a pretty standard default. I think expecting maybe that aggression to come in again in the early stages, as we've seen a few times. Marquez, though, getting the chance to maybe get an opening kill in the early stages, unfortunately doesn't land the op shot. So for the moment, still a 5-on-5. Both sides still kind of keeping the pressure on each other, so I don't think it'll remain in a stalemate for very long.
Yeah. I think this is episode slightly getting closer to 11-4, I feel like. Oh, that's a ridiculous dink from Staehr. And I'll get away with it, though, and still take that frag. And Nickelback's holding down Jaguar pretty well. Can't fall back through that molly. When did they triple swing? Or double swing, I should say. They're going to do it at some point. In comes a flashbang, and it pushes his crosshair off the angle. That's the way to do it. Refresh gets the trade, and Zyphon's found Hooch on a bit of a quick push, I think. As you can see, Zyphon's position outside the A-bomb site at the moment. Mir's rotating in toward A to look for something, but the bomb is going to be going all the way back toward that site, so that's going to be the correct choice for sure. Mir has to put in a big defense here. He's got himself into a nice little angle, maybe not expecting him to be up so close. Refresh is not going to get caught up by that one, and that will spook LauNX off the bomb plant. And Mir's doing a great job right now because they're baiting him into Crad, and it's a bit of a donut dance right now. You can see it through the X-ray into a donut. Stacks finally wins it, though, against Anarquez. And the donut dance goes Entropiq's way. 2v2, 15 seconds, bomb on the side. Stacks trying to force a player out, and in the end he hits the tag. And the tag is finished off by his own Molotov. 1v1, Zyphon with the picked up AWP. 7 seconds, he's going to be going for the kill. And now back for the plant. Tap comes in, low HP, and Crad just about takes it. And in the end, Entropiq recover 5 on the half. Pretty wild end to that one. And we're going to go to a quick break to see if the wildness continues.
love it, you wear it. What's your style? Get your merch at shop.eslgaming.com.
We're back, 10-5, Sprout, Entropiq, and kind of what we expected, unfortunately, with all of Entropiq's issues at the moment. Unfortunately, playing, of course, with Hooch in this game, as S42 is having connection problems, and it kind of did tell for the majority of that half. He's not playing too badly, though, which is impressive considering his last official, proper official at least, was back in late 2020, so it's been a while for Hooch, but Sprout are now looking to finish off this first map. Defending toward the A side on Ancient. Hooch with a sick entry, taking his specs out of the round instantaneously. No hesitation on that one, and it's a bit of a bait, because they're running the bomb in toward B.
Yeah, and it's hold to make incredibly well for Hooch to come in from behind and catch 3 of them caught up in a choke point. He doesn't get all of the kills, but 2 should be enough in this situation. Unfortunately, his teammates are not having the same success as Sprout-lauNX eventually comes through with 1, leaving it all now on refresh. He has a 1 versus 2. You mentioned him in these clutch situations. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the Kevlar, and he no longer has the health, I don't think, to get this done. 1 bullet to the body should be enough for it to be finished off for Entropiq, and there it is. A 6th round is going to be claimed. Crad puts that final bullet in, and what a round from Hooch. He's up there tied for the top scorer right now alongside, or for second top fragger rather, alongside Mir. It's Crad who's in first after getting himself a bit of action there on the pistol as well. But either way, as I had mentioned in the beginning of this game, he didn't need to be towards the top of the scoreboard. We want him getting the 1 kill around when they're winning and such, just kind of doing the bare minimum. We're expecting the frags to come from the likes of Mir and Arquez and Crad, and hopefully throughout this half we'll see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty sick pistol from Hooch, wasn't it? I mean, he played it to perfection, and the strat from Entropiq was pretty much played to perfection as well. And just to run 2 players in toward A, Hooch manages to creep all the way through just by holding W to get all the way behind. The ecos are eaten up by the Entropiq side.
Nice and fast.
Yeah, 2 for Crad, 2 for an Arquez, no messing around, and yeah, that was a nice little play. Seeing Hooch coming around on the pistol as well, flanking those 2 players. Didn't get all 3, as you say, but he did his job. And that's the respect, of course, as he's not played for a very, very long time when it comes to at least officials, especially officials on HLTV. I mean, the last one is when they were still called Windstrike. They still had Alien, they still had Lackey, they still had Bondic, and it was against Singularity, which, yeah, is 2 organisations you don't hear much about in Counter-Strike anymore.
Yeah, a lot of names no longer present from back in the days.
The pre-COVID years, yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, there was always names being revived from like the CS 1.6 era, so we'll get to a point where orgs and such will start being revived from the early CSGO days, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Wonder if we'll ever see it playing again.
I miss those.
Oh, I thought Slacks had that angle lined up initially there on Mirror as well. It looked like he was going to have the kill, but apparently got a dink, I suppose, to the corner of the wall, judging by the health. Either way, a 1-for-1 trade, not terrible. I don't think Staehr noticed Crad up close.
He didn't.
Didn't get the info. Thankfully, didn't get peeked on either as he now backs away, knife in hand. That was scary to watch, but he'll get away not knowing how close he may have come to death.
Exactly, Crad. Just had him dead to rights there. But Staehr will fire some bullets through the wall-bangable plywood and fall back toward the back of the site. And Arquez will try and entry in. And there is the spook for Staehr. They're going to be hunted down by an Arquez, already pushing back toward the back of the site, and the flashbang will give him a chance to peek, but he's actually up further than maybe they're expecting. Next to the smoke right now, I think they'll now realise he's definitely close as that right-click smoke comes in. Couldn't have got away that far, so Have to be wary of this particular play. And Staehr's now trying to make a play next to this smoke that he's used, but Hooch, Mac 10 comes in swinging and gets himself another kill. 10 on the board for him, and Lamp's going to be out of bullets in a second too. Just about grabs the kill. 3v3, no defuse kit, and look at Mir. Look at Mir. He's got the play, but he's only 20 points of health. When does he get checked? He gets checked now. And I think they've got enough time to defuse the bomb. Close, but no cigar on the first gun round for Entropiq.
That was incredibly close, though. Sprout finding themselves the early bit of control here, potentially, if they can build off of it. One more gun round will completely break down Entropiq's economy. Obviously, they got the bomb plant in, they've done some damage as well, and can now fully purchase back up. So the opportunity also there for Entropiq to do the same to Sprout's money, which is really on edge. So if they can manage to break them down in this one, suddenly 9 rounds on the board for Entropiq. One more gun round could tie them up in terms of scoreline, and be very quickly forgetting that it was once 9-1.
Exactly, you never know.
Oh, the knees of Crad getting torn apart. He'll be hobbling into a bomb site at this point. I thought he was going to right-click that and might have actually done some further damage on Crad.
Yeah, the walking wounded. It could be a free kill for Mir though in mid. They have no idea it is underneath the boxes, and yeah, Refresh gets caught out by that one. So that's also their one defuse kit lost in mid, I do believe. Sit on the ground there, and no one else does have one, so that could be an issue again. Didn't have one in the previous round, and it was very close, so you never know. Could come back to bite them in the future. Bomb going to be recovered by Hooch. It looks like going to be going back toward B again.
Now it's just been forced to pretty much give up the bomb site, and unfortunately his corner being mollied out means he's not going to be able to keep the numbers, which was really the only goal right there of conceding the bomb site. They wanted to keep the 4-on-4. Allow for Zyphon's flank to come true, which will still actually be fruitful. Headshot on an Arquez might have a chance of catching this player coming from the cave as well. I was going to say being swung on potentially from the ramp too, but no, they decided the double swing towards the spawn was a better idea. Fortunately, Nickelback didn't end up getting the help. Instead, Hooch backs up in the cave to help out his teammate along there. And but a smoke actually completely negates their vision of what's going on towards this bomb site right now. Obviously, defusing still going to be a pretty difficult task without a kit and with the wall bangs coming through. So it seems to be pretty much done either way for Entropiq. There's nothing that Sprout can do about winning the rounds anymore, but they do want the kills. And well, there's one first there, but he's not going to get away, obviously. And well, Hooch is happy enough to go down with the bomb as long as it means ensuring the round to win at that point. It's not ideal though. I mean, even just look at the money of Entropiq right now. It is just about there to buy the rifles. There might be a weaker weapon or two. And then Sprout, on the other hand, they're going to have a couple rifles in play. A few of them, actually. 3 M4s, more than I was expecting. They're still going to have some weaknesses to the buy as well. So this is a round now where both of these teams are incredibly fragile once again.
Oh, Entropiq. They were almost fortunate to get away with that, I think, in that previous round. The defuse, the 10-second hold was coming in. It was going to be very close, that's for sure. Zyphon Mag 7 up close, and yes, the Mag 7 giveth, and it taketh away. Zyphon gets owned by Hooch, and that means that they've got a path in toward the A-bomb site now. He's going to be smoked off in toward Donut, and that will mean both him and Slacks have to hop away. It's a full force buy for Sprout, of course, as well in this round, so good chance for Entropiq to work their way back, and there's an Arcus pushing through the temple position, thankfully stopped by LauNX, but what do you really do in this situation with no kid again? They're going to be working their way in from Donut. Nickelback boosted up, should be a free kill to Slacks. There it is. Windows swing. There it is. Plays a headshot angle and catches him off guard. Now it's all down to Refresh. As I mentioned, he can still be very good on the clutch. Going for the 10-second hold there. No armor. He might as well, to be honest, considering that be a very tough duel with no Kevlar. And in the end, he has to go for the swing as Crad hunts him down. Entropiq with 9. Sprout on a double eco. Damn, this is getting close.
Closing in on them right now. Should be an opportunity for Entropiq up against this force buy here. Win this one suddenly, you're against an eco, you're going to tie it up 11-11 before the guns come out again. Obviously Sprout don't want to let that happen. That's why they've come in with this force buy right now, but maybe out of their control considering how much Entropiq have taken it up since that initial streak of 9 rounds that they really struggle in. So let's see. A couple of SMGs in play though, so the rifles aren't all there. The nades could be better as well for Entropiq. So there's some weaknesses that perhaps Sprout can exploit. As you see, a fairly standard default. Taking the control, the Mac-10 leading the charge into cave. Staehr with his deagle, not really wanting to be too aggressive. He wants a position where he can hopefully take a kill and immediately fall away. And actually, that would have been a nice angle, and is a nice angle there to bait them in towards this double boost that's currently in place, or just the boost rather. Double boost, I guess, not really necessary. It's like saying a wallbang through a wall. Staehr though doesn't stick around for that fight in cave. It does confirm though the presence of a player quite close, so that should initiate the rotations. It also gives them the ability to put down those smokes that they had been trying to conserve. Problem is already losing a player now, and with so much time on the clock, Entropiq are glad to slow it down. They don't really need to rush into what could be a stack.
And looking for Hooch, takes him. Oh my goodness, their second kill as well. Could even make it 3, but Hanagis jump shots him with the Mac-10. Ah yes, Counter-Strike in a nutshell in a matter of 5 seconds. Jump shots with the Mac-10, insane 1-digs, and Mir just flanks everyone on the site and says, hello, it's time to secure the round for my team. That was a pretty sick sequence of entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, spotted the leg of the first player around the edge of the smoke, got the read then that the second was sitting in the smoke as well to land a nasty flick just as it fades away.
Yeah.
You think that there's a 100% third kill coming his way pretty much, as the player wasn't even looking initially, but no, the deagle, a couple of body shots, does some damage, and then he gets jump shot into the face, as you said. Always fun. Half investment this time from Sprout. They keep the money they need to buy in this next round, but we're going to be sitting 11-11 most likely after this. So Entropiq, considering they're on a map here that they don't really play, that they have no history on it in months, and they're playing with their coach as a stand-in, the fact they've been able to recover this from 9-1 down is an absolute miracle. And at this point, on track maybe to steal the win away 16-11, unless Sprout find a real notch up in their own performance. 2 kills without even vision, I believe, right there. Nice shot by lau-NX, but he's not going to be getting the weapon, unfortunately, at the bottom of ramp.
More nice digs from Sprout, but right now they're under a bit of pressure. I didn't think I'd be saying that. Entropiq, everything going against them in this series so far. Everything, including having to play with Hooch, of course, as well. And they might even be evening up this map from 10-2 behind. Actually, it was 10-1, wasn't it, at one point? Pretty unbelievable. And once again, Mir has found a path all the way through CT doors to get behind the enemy lines on B. So they're giving Entropiq a lot of freedom in that position. And Sprout, of course, have hamstrung their own economy as well, as you so rightly pointed out earlier about them continuing to force, right? I mean, it made sense, to be fair, right? The fact that they knew they did so much damage to the Entropiq economy twice over, barely anyone surviving. So, yeah, it is, you know, it's not exactly the wrong call, but Entropiq have fought their way through those buys and now are about to even up this game as lau-NX, after a second sick 1-dig, is off to save the AK.
Not really given the choice otherwise. It's a good recovery. I mean, this was the eco. Obviously, they've done some good damage as well as we pointed out, saving an AK across. But if you're Sprout, you've got to be worried. You've got to wonder, how has this fallen apart as much as it has? It is their game to lose. I mean, their own map choice on a map that their opponent doesn't really play. They don't even have their full 5-man lineup, as you said, playing with their coach who hasn't played a proper official in nearly 2 years at this point. So
Yeah.
it is kind of nuts that they're beginning to struggle. The fact that they could get such an initial lead and then let it slip away. If it was going kind of poorly from the beginning, I feel like I wouldn't be as bewildered. I don't understand how it's turned around as much as it has. Refresh nearly getting caught with a smoke out in mid. Staehr decides to go throw his nade, getting caught. It will get the finish on an Arquez. And somehow they've just got a flurry of kills across the map here. I don't know how this has worked out, but it has. Sprout have a 4-on-2, and this is, I was going to say, easily the best position they've had in about 6 or 7 rounds, and it doesn't really seem like there's going to be much that Entropiq can do about it. If Nickelback can get a couple of kills, maybe that would be nice, but their money is in shambles considering how many rounds they've won so far on this half. They haven't been able to build that economy.
Yeah, this is some entertaining stuff. Finding myself having a little laugh at some of these situations, and I always tells the tale that it's a fun game. Refresh should have Nickelback dead to rights in a second or two. I'm trying to dispose of the AWP and trying to get it through that tiny gap in the map there, which I think actually is possible, but it will connect a bit too hard. And now I realise that Nickelback's very close. Now it's a battle of wits. Who swings first? And CSGO will choose to do that and take the kill easily. 20 kills on the board for him, 22 for StaehrH. Sprout will relax their fans a little bit after winning that one so comfortably.
Opt for a Narquez alongside a rifle and some pistols. I'm noting Nickelback is stuck on a Glock despite having armor in full utility. That's not ideal. Didn't even have enough to drop him over a pistol though, unfortunately, so it wasn't really an option unless someone else had a sacrificed down and got themselves a weaker pistol. Either way, we'll see what he can get done. He has the utility for the entire team basically at this point. They've only got one or two flashes rather elsewhere. And they're taking their time, expecting maybe some aggression from Sprout, thinking that there's going to be a change up in the approach to this round, because Sprout had, of course, been struggling for such a long time.
Yeah.
Expecting them perhaps not to rely on, once again, the same thing that, sure, it worked out in the previous round, playing this fairly standard round. But the risks seem to be what need to be taken at this point. Slacks, though, he might just get his opportunity here. The boost coming through. He was somewhat expecting this, and there you go. Reads it perfectly, gets the headshot, but decides to step into the open despite knowing obviously someone boosted him. What the hell?
That is a bit of a weird choice of aggression there. I would definitely agree with you on that one. And you know, that's the classic caster thing. If you say something is bold, you usually say, well, that's caster speak for saying it's wrong. And I think Slacks was wrong in that
Stupid as
instance.
hell.
Now Nickelback, at least after having a Glock to start this round off, can at least pick up that AWP and have something to play with rather than just a default pistol. But that's not going to help him whatsoever. CSGO rips his head off, and that's all down to the fact that the Deagle. Pre-fire is nice, not a bad crosshair placement, but StaehrH rips his head off before he gets a chance. And that gets Sprout up to 13, and now Entropiq are down to what is definitely an eco. Otherwise, you know, buying here would also be stupid as hell.
Yeah, I mean, considering the gun rounds were going so well for them also throughout this half, you don't really want to push the issue so many times that you end up getting maybe one more gun round in the half after they were going so incredibly well for them overall. So yeah, I mean, even that previous round where they only had the one rifle and the op alongside pistols wasn't ideal. I wouldn't mind they'd seen an eco at that point, so they could have been fine now. Instead, it's going to be 14-11, and they will have to be pretty much flawless, which is never an easy task. Zyphon, though, spotting the heads coming through, knows it's the full A push, already got the bomb dropped in the open, had a chance maybe to line up the collateral there, but he didn't want to take it. Instead, one for the op, one for the USP, got a sure spread out the frags. Here we go, 14-11, as expected. The pause comes in. That's nice to see from Entropiq. We have been kind of short on pauses so far, surprisingly.
Yeah, true.
Even when it was the early stages and they were down like 9-1, I don't really think we were seeing... Did we see a tactical pause back then? I don't recall one.
I think maybe one. I can't remember. I'll be honest with you. I do remember one pause, but I can't remember if that was Sprout's pause. So you know. Got a question for you, Dean. What's more satisfying, a collateral with that AWP if it happened, or an immediate AWP shot and then a one tap with the USP?
I think the collateral, just for the sake of making the round end as quick as possible. You know,
Okay,
not even having to
fair enough.
shoot. Like, you don't even need to shoot many bullets. You know, just one will deal with two of them. It feels really nice when you land it, just because it's not really in your control. It's just, it means things are working out in your favor. Do you get me?
Yeah, I agree. I get you.
I like when people line up for me. That's not something I can necessarily control all the time. You just need it to be one of those games.
Exactly.
The long range USP tap though, always satisfying. So no complaints, I'm sure.
Indeed. Entropiq with their buy coming in. And
Atrocious.
yeah, I was about to say exactly the same thing. It's literally as if they're playing DM right now. They have a total of 2 smokes and a flash, and they have a minute 10 to go. What on earth do they do with them? Well, smoke will already be raining in, but this flash has to be an absolute god flash. And one, and CSGO swings to take down Coach Hooch. Thankfully, Narquez will trade him, but 4v3, Refresh having a peer above the donut smoke as well. Information gathered. I mean, it's crept in toward A there, and they are wary of the fact that they've obviously left A completely open. And look where Crad is. He's actually crept through cave as well. That's give StaehrH an absolute nightmare, and there we go. StaehrH tries to immediately trade him. Or Slack, sorry, tries to immediately trade him, and he'll get taken out too. So 2v2 back in response, and now the flank is being flanked. Mir, coming around the back of B, is being flanked by Refresh. This should be Refresh's kill. When does he choose to peek? Is this a gun barrel? He does. Easy spray down. And now it's a very tough clutch for Crad.
Yeah, it seems like he might be up to it, though, considering what he's been showing us so far. Already 2 kills. He has the time to position in towards Cave here, which might give him the drop on the first player at the very least. And there it is, already a headshot on Zyphon, but Refresh crouches into the angle and manages to pull off the savior 1 versus 1 right there for them. Loads of time, of course, for that bomb to be defused. I was going to say good luck for nades, but all he's really lacking is a flash. He's already got the up and everything. Get this over with and keep the grind going. 15-11. Sprout, they stumbled for quite a while. It was maybe less of a stumble, more of a face plant, but they did manage to recover pretty well.
They did.
Hopefully they've got it in them now to finish it off, because if they were to lose Ancient here, then that would be detrimental to this series overall for them, because this was the one map you looked at as being like, yeah, that should be a given for Sprout, because both Mirage and Overpass then are much more middle grounds.
Yeah, I mean, this has been one of the most surprising losses of the year. Sprout managed to lose to Entropiq playing with Hooch. First series for however long, just under 2 years. But he can still hit headshots, and as proved in that particular duel, absolutely rips the head off of Zyphon. That is sick stuff from Hooch. And Mir's going to find Stair as well. So this game is still on. Unfortunately, Mir will give up his life to lau-NX, who had pushed up aggressively. And Snax is aware that the A-bomb site, of course, is completely open. That is where the plant will go down, and he's just looking for a pick before he waits for his teammate, who just picked up the AWP, and he's going to catch off Snax, looking toward the close angle rather than the long angle. And now lau-NX needs to clutch 1 versus 2. Nickelback and Hooch to try and stop him and extend this game a little bit further. Kit available, grenade available, but no one low enough to make that grenade too much of an issue. Of course, Nickelback boosted up as well, which might be a difficult angle to pre-fire. He's making a lot of noise now as well, and I think already he's deciding to fall back and maybe save and just look for some exits. You know, he has the money to maybe stick around and look for one player running away, but the save is the choice. And that's 15-12.
3 rounds in a row on top of it now. Very achievable in order to get to the overtime, especially when you bring in the fact that this could be the last full gun round for Sprout anyway. Lose this one should be a 14th then for Entropiq, and while they then scrape out their rifles, it would be a little bit limited. So for Sprout now, they do need to get it done. I was expecting maybe even a pause to be called in, but it doesn't seem like they want to do it. Instead, they probably have a plan in mind, everything they could ask for as well to back up this buy. So there's absolutely 0 weaknesses. So if there is a round to pull out any sort of plan they might have in mind, some sort of set play here on the CT side to close it out, this would be when to do it for sure. Deeper smoke in towards B, I believe, to allow that peek towards middle. Since they have an actual deep smoke down on mid as well, we're not really seeing Entropiq moving forward. Instead, they are holding for the A main aggression, and well, Zyphon was going to give it to them, but I don't know if he's going to go any further than where he's currently positioned.
Yeah, Zyphon pushed up on a close angle. Hooch looking to try and maybe face him first. He's already destroyed him in the previous round. You never know. Lightning could strike twice. Sprout are going to want to try and finish as quickly as possible. Stax will get mollied off the angle, but he gets tagged. Can he get around the angle in time? He just can, and oh my goodness. Refresh straight through the smoke, takes Anarquez out. Maybe a bit of help on the radar there with the red dots appearing, and now just like that, it's all down to Mir. He's stuck. Stax finishes him off, and that is game, set, and match, but only map, I should say, for the Sprout boys. We're going to go to a quick break. When we're back, we'll have a quick chat about Ancient.